I'm about to lose everything that I've ever cared about. And I have no idea how to save it.
You got the wrong guy. I'm no hero. The Wolverine.
Let down his entire world.
Well, my entire world needs you. Shake on it. Ah! You nicked it with your little steak knife.
Time! Who's next?
Good luck, I'm a huge fan.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my brand new Deadpool and Wolverine trailer video. There's a bunch of new footage. They also screened the first 40 minutes or footage from the first 40 minutes to international audiences. They confirmed a bunch of details in that part of the movie, including Wolverine versus Hulk, as well as Lady Deadpool, and a couple other big things that are happening in the movie, so we'll break it all down. I know people have been waiting forever for Wolverine versus Hulk. That also reminds you of the footage of Wolverine versus Sabretooth, when Deadpool in the trailer is telling him people have been waiting for this fight for decades. Now you kind of wonder if they took the audio from that Wolverine versus Hulk fight from Deadpool and then just put it during this Sabretooth scene, like if the audio is actually coming from this Sabretooth scene or if it's coming from a totally different scene. They do weird stuff like that in all the trailers, chopping stuff up to mislead you all the time. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We're also doing that ticket giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and just post your favorite Easter eggs from the trailer on the video. Here's the thing with that big Wolverine versus Hulk fight. The people that were saying that they saw this in the first 40 minutes of the movie, which is crazy already, like it's already happening in like the first chunk of the film. We're not even talking about the later parts of the film where the really spoilery stuff might be happening. Those people who saw that didn't say which version of the Hulk that he was fighting, which actually seems like a pretty big detail to omit. Like if you're going to say there's going to be a Wolverine versus Hulk fight, like wouldn't you want to say which version of the Hulk he's fighting? So it could be Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, it could be Edward Norton's Hulk, I'm not expecting it to be, or it could be Eric Bana's version of the Hulk from the early 2000s. Depending on the tone of their fight, that might actually be more appropriate. Eric Bana himself was asked about having a cameo in the movie a while ago, but he said that he was not in the film. He could have just been misleading people because actors do that all the time. You can let me know which version of the Hulk you would want to see Wolverine fight if they're going to have a version of that in the movie. It really depends on what kind of fight you want to see between the two of them. Like if you just want to see a straight up knockdown, drag out fight where they just rip the hell out of each other, or if you want to see a more comedic type of fight. There are a lot of people that in the background of this scene too, like you see one of these other prisoners in the other ball when they're being dragged to the Ant-Man base. You have Wolverine, Deadpool in one of these being trapped in another character that's kind of blurry in the background. Some people think that the Wolverine versus Hulk scene is tied to this, and this is like a version of the Hulk that's trapped here. There are a couple other Hulk Easter eggs that we've seen in previous trailers too, like there's the bed from Sakaar that Hulk slept in that's inside that cave. It's possible that that version of Hulk in the movie, whatever variant it's going to be, is from that cave. In this other scene too, it actually looks like he's on that same place where Wolverine died in the Logan movie, ripping apart these TVA agents with Wolverine's adamantium bones. The same people that saw this first 40 minutes of the movie also said one of the things they saw during it were a bunch of Deadpool and Wolverine variants, and one of the Wolverine variants was like a zombie version of Wolverine. They didn't say where that appears or what planet he's on, but at some point it seems like Wolverine travels to this same place because you can see the same overturned truck in the background. The forest looks kind of similar, except there's snow on the ground here. And he's just eviscerating these TVA agents, like he even takes a selfie with one of them. And it looks like he's holding pieces of Wolverine's adamantium bones to do it. So maybe he dug up the version of Wolverine that X-23 buried during the events of this movie. We get a much better look at Juggernaut in the background of this scene in the courtyard of that Ant-Man base standing next to Emma Corrin. There were all kinds of talk about her character, I'll explain in a second. But also during one of these big fights that happens in the courtyard, they've been putting them in all the trailers. If you notice in the more recent trailers, especially the one that I put at the beginning of this, they've been polishing the special effects, the visual effects, the color timing, so the trailers have started to look way better. Like physically, they just appear better. They've also beefed up a lot of the shots too. Like you can see this shot of Alioth coming for the Ant-Man base for Wolverine and Deadpool as they jump into the portal. Looks way more like Alioth as you remember him from the Loki series. My guess is when they released those original trailers, you can see the difference in this shot too. They just weren't done with all the visual effects yet. But in the backyard of this courtyard scene, you see this long hair. I think this is meant to be Jennifer Garner's version of Elektra because she's also supposed to be in the movie. People have been talking about her for a while now. Supposedly she's on some sort of resistance force on this void planet they're all stuck on, fighting against Cassandra Nova as opposed to being on her X-Men variant team. Speaking of which, in the background of this shot now, because of the extra visual effects they've laid on the trailers, you can see this Avengers flag waving with an A drawn on it. Ryan Reynolds has actually been wearing a hat of that recently too. I think that's just meant to confirm there's going to be a lot of Avengers, MCU variant jokes going on during the movie too. We've already seen several MCU, Kevin Feige types of jokes in previous trailers too, like when the TVA is showing Deadpool all the scenes from the previous Marvel movies. But a lot of people saw a bunch of tie-in products from Coca-Cola featuring Daredevil on it with Elektra and Deadpool, so people are thinking now that means that Ben Affleck's Daredevil is going to have a cameo during the movie, even though a lot of people were reporting earlier this year, last year, that that wasn't going to happen. People saw him visiting the set a while ago when they were filming the movie, but most people assumed that he was just there with his children and Jennifer Garner's children to visit her while she was filming her cameo scenes. But it is totally possible that he does have a cameo in the movie. A lot of times they'll make the tie-in products for movies either like toys or food products, drink products, long before they finish filming. So a lot of times they'll change movies while they're filming, like all movies change a little bit during the filming process. But because they made the products long before that, they can't change those, so you'll have stuff that just seems weird when the movie comes out. So even if he's not in the movie, it's possible that at one point he was supposed to be in the film. I've already talked about the Wolverine vs. Sabretooth scenes. This is Tyler Mane's original version of Sabretooth from X-Men 2000. He did not come back for X2 for whatever reason. Then when they got to Wolverine Origins and they did another version of Sabretooth, it was Liev Schreiber's version. It's possible that he has a cameo during the movie too, but I'm not expecting it. Like, I think they might just be doing this Tyler Mane version of Sabretooth. There was a lot of talk about Cassandra Nova in the movie in a couple recent interviews that Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman did. I don't know if she's going to wind up being a total misdirect and there'll be some other secret villain like we've all theorized. That's possible if people have only seen the first 40 minutes of the movie. There's just like so much story that nobody has any idea about. During a recent interview they did with Entertainment Weekly, they made her sound like she's going to be an actual alien and have more of a comic book accurate origin story in the film. In the comics, she has a super trippy origin story. She's meant to be based on this Shi'ar concept of an evil shadow self that everybody has, but in the case of Professor X, his psychic powers, psychic energy is so great, his shadow self, which they call a Mumundrai, enters the womb of Professor X's mother as he's gestating as a baby and is able to take physical form, just making itself look like his female twin. Like I said, it's super trippy, it's a Grant Morrison concept, no surprise there. They used some of the twists from this Cassandra Nova story that introduced her during the recent X-Men 97 episodes, but not Cassandra Nova herself. Probably because they were getting ready to use the character during Deadpool and Wolverine. That's the other reason why they said that Deadpool did not appear during X-Men 97 Season 1. He was kind of off limits because they were doing the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. But it's not totally clear if they are going to do a straight-up comic book accurate version of Cassandra Nova in the movie itself, or if it's going to be a twist on that, because we're talking about the TVA, Loki series, Easter eggs, all these X-Men variants that we've seen in all the trailers, variants of other characters, like apparently the Hulk is going to be in the movie. But also during a lot of the interviews for the movie, they've been referencing Professor X a lot, mostly in reference to Cassandra Nova and her twist on the Professor X character, like her evil twist on him. But it is possible we see a version of Professor X at some point during the movie. Patrick Stewart also made it sound like he was going to have a cameo last year, but that could have been a misdirect. Like he said early on when they were getting ready to film that he was told to stay on deck, like he was told to expect a phone call to have a cameo. But they did wind up rewriting and changing a big portion of the movie during all the breaks they took during the strikes, so it's possible that we don't see Professor X as well too. Another funny detail, apparently too, practical effects here, is that during the movie, you can kind of see this during the trailer too, they extended Cassandra Nova's fingertips to make her fingers seem way freakier and longer. I think it's mostly for scenes like this where you see her finger puppeting Wolverine, just to make her seem extra freaky. There's also been a lot more talk about Taylor Swift cameos because recently Ryan Reynolds just posted an Instagram picture of Deadpool parodying Taylor Swift's Evermore album cover. But that could just be Ryan Reynolds in real life clowning on everyone who's thinking that there's a Taylor Swift cameo in the movie when there's not. For a while, people thought she might be the Lady Deadpool that we've been seeing in the trailers, who was also confirmed during those recent international screenings during the first 40 minutes of the footage. The people who saw it did say that Lady Deadpool, the Deadpool Corps do show up, but they seemingly confirm my theory that it sounded more like Blake Lively, not Taylor Swift, and Blake Lively would be Lady Deadpool. A while ago, I talked about how Rob Liefeld might have potentially, maybe inadvertently spoiled cameo in one of his posts from a couple years ago. He since deleted the post, I think because Blake Lively actually did wind up in the movie, so he didn't want it to seem like it was an overt spoiler if people found the old post, but Pepperidge Farm remembers, Baskin-Robbins always finds out. Those same international audiences that saw the first 40 minutes of the movie also claimed they saw a Deadpool parody version of the Avengers Assemble moment from Avengers Endgame, like the portal scene. That might be what all the different portals in the trailers are from. We've still got a couple weeks before the movie comes out, so I am sure there's going to be some more footage, some more reports about cameos and other crazy stuff going on during the trailers, so whatever they wind up releasing, of course I will do videos for it. And if you are trying to get that Deadpool and Wolverine popcorn bucket, they should start selling it pretty soon at different theaters, but you do have to ask them specifically at individual theaters, like you have to go to the theater and ask them. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up. We're still in the middle of The Boys Season 4 episodes and House of the Dragon Season 2. Click here for my Boys Season 4 Episode 6 video, and click here for my House of the Dragon Season 2 Episode 4 video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one in maximum effort.